Hello friends. I waited a little bit longer to make this video because there was more information that was coming out about the OpenAI board members and why Sam was fired in the first place, including a new AI model.
Possible breakthrough in artificial intelligence and a staff letter warning the board about it. The researchers' letter raised concerns that the discovery could threaten humanity.
So overall, I actually feel mildly less concerned than a few weeks prior to all of this going about. So it looks like Sam is back to OpenAI as the CEO, and Sam also confirms this. I'm looking forward to returning to OpenAI. It does look like the major powers are now in alignment. Greg also says, "We are so back." Satya Nadella, "We are encouraged by the changes to the OpenAI board. Sam, Greg, and I have talked and agreed they have a key role to play along with OpenAI leadership team in ensuring OpenAI continues to thrive and build on its mission. But in the end, if there is one winner, it is definitely Microsoft, who clearly played a huge role in this whole ordeal, and they're gaining more influence over OpenAI, including probably getting a seat on the new board." But before I get ahead of myself and talk more about Microsoft and what it all means for AI safety, I do want to first go over what really went down at OpenAI. As is most things in life, there is more than meets the eye.
So CSET is a policy research and analysis organization. Really, one of the biggest things that motivated CSET being founded was a range of emerging technologies that are affecting national security.
This is Helen Toner. She's an AI researcher and one of the directors of the nonprofit board that governs OpenAI. In the weeks leading up to his firing at OpenAI CEO, Sam Altman had a conflict with artificial intelligence researcher Helen Toner. Altman tried to get Toner off the board and was engaging other board members in that effort because she recently co-wrote a rather controversial paper, which is this one over here, Decoding Intentions, Artificial Intelligence and Costly Signals. But the reason why Sam Altman got really pissed off about this was because she criticizes OpenAI's safety approach in favor of OpenAI's direct competitor called Anthropic. She said that they did well in taking precautions by delaying the release of Claude, which is their version of ChatGPT. Anyways, Sam was very not happy about this, and he messaged her saying that this was not a great idea, especially at this time, because the FCC was investigating OpenAI over data leaks and ChatGPT's inaccuracies. But she defended herself in a statement saying that this was done in light of academic research, and it's her very important responsibility to make sure that AI is beneficial to all of humanity. And this sentiment was not just limited to OpenAI itself. It's actually a sentiment that's shared by a larger movement called the EA movement. For those of you who are not familiar with EA, effective altruism is a philosophical and social movement that advocates using evidence and reason to figure out how to benefit others as much as possible and taking actions on that basis. What that means in the AI world is making sure that any artificial intelligence that's being created and that's being used is being regulated and done in a safe way. This as a philosophy does make a lot of sense. But unfortunately, there is a lot of backlash, a lot of skeletons in the closet, including the downfall of convicted crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried, who was once among the leading figures of EA. There's a lot more related to EA that I can go into. It's actually a lot of things that are happening over there. But I'm not going to go into too much more detail about this video. I am making a bigger video surrounding OpenAI. But the one thing that I just want you to know is that there is this backlash that's happening, and because of this, it gave rise to a new movement called the E/ACC movement. Effective acceleratism. The basic idea of the philosophy is this. In a technological age, the power of innovation and capitalism should be exploited to their extremes to drive radical social change, even if it means completely upending today's social order. Supporters of the EACC movement include Mark Andreessen, who is a venture capitalist as well as a business leader, and Gary Tan, who is the president and CEO of Y Combinator. So people who subscribe by EACC usually write on their Twitter accounts EACC. But in any case, Helen is associated with the EA movement, as well as Quora CEO Adam D'Angelo and the RAND scientist Tasha McClory. A fourth member, OpenAI's co-founder and chief scientist Ilya Sutskever, also holds views on AI that are generally sympathetic to EA. The other two members of the board, Sam and Greg, so they're not explicitly saying that they're part of the EACC movement, like they don't have EACC as part of their Twitter handle publicly, but consensus being that they're more on the camp of EACC. So I'm sure it wasn't just like the EA people being like, we need to slow down, and the EACC people being like, no, we need to speed up. There was actually this tweet from Emmett Shear, who was the interim CEO for OpenAI. He used to be the CEO of Twitch. So this is when he first took the job. He said, I got a call inviting me to consider a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to become the interim CEO of OpenAI. He says at the very bottom here, PPS. Before I took the job, I checked on the reasoning behind the change. The board did not remove Sam over any specific disagreement on safety. Their reasoning was completely different from that. I'm not crazy enough to take this job without board support for commercializing our awesome models. The subtle little hint here is that he wrote, the board did not remove Sam over any specific disagreement on safety. What's coming out now is that it was in fact multiple specific reasons about AI safety. So I guess not any specific reason, but many specific reasons. Helen Toner's paper was a piece of this. In addition to that, Sam Altman was allegedly fundraising in the Middle East for a new chip venture that was codenamed Tigris and was intended to rival NVIDIA. Dev Day pushed to show off the new GPTs and other technologies. During that time, they may also have turned a blind eye on a few things in order to make sure the deadline was met. But the biggest reasons is an AI breakthrough. Ahead of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's 4-day in exile, several researchers wrote a letter to the board of directors warning of a powerful artificial intelligence discovery that they said could threaten humanity. Leading researcher Ilya Sutskever, also on the board, had a breakthrough that allowed OpenAI to overcome limitations on obtaining enough high-quality data to train models. This was a major obstacle for developing next-generation models. The research involved using computer-generated rather than real-world data, like text or images pulled from the internet to train new models, so synthetic data. So they figured out a way to incorporate synthetic data. Then following this breakthrough, senior OpenAI researchers used the innovation to build systems that could solve basic math problems. If you played around with ChatGPT before or any other GPT or large language models, you would know that for whatever reason, large language models have a difficult time solving basic math problems. So these guys were able to figure that out, which was a very important technical milestone. This was obviously amazing, but it also set off a lot of alarms within OpenAI, and the pace of development alarmed some researchers focused on AI safety. Just want to make a note that Jacob Pachocki and Seisman Sador, these two people are one of the three top researchers that immediately quit after Sam Altman quit. So all of this is kind of coming together now. It's all making a little bit more sense, a lot more sense. But to this day, OpenAI still hasn't explicitly said anything themselves yet. I can definitely see that after Sam was fired and everything that happened afterwards, why they didn't want to disclose more information about this model, like not within the turmoil of what's happening, right? But I think they really shot themselves in the foot by not discussing any of this. To the point in which even Emmett Shear, who is the interim CEO, he joined the talks at a turning point in the negotiations. He even asked the board to provide concrete evidence of Sam's wrongdoing. When they did not do so, he said he could not remain in the CEO role and helped both sides find common ground to get Sam reinstated again. We still don't exactly know what Sam did specifically to trigger the final result. But I did want to share some information that came out from people who wanted to stand up and shed some light. Just want to put a big disclaimer, though, that OpenAI officially has not said anything at all. Big grain of salt here. So Jeffrey Irving, he said, I have no detail of OpenAI's board's reasons for firing Sam, and I am conflicted. He's the lead of scalable alignment at Google DeepMind. My prior is strongly against Sam after working for him for 2 years at OpenAI. He was nice to me. He lied to me on various occasions. He was deceptive, manipulative, and worse for others, including my close friend. Again, only nice to me for reasons. Then there was this very odd letter about OpenAI that was sent to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk actually tweeted this. To the board of directors of OpenAI, we're writing to you today to express our deep concern about the recent events at OpenAI, particularly the allegations of misconduct against Sam Altman. We are former OpenAI employees who left the company during a period of significant turmoil and upheaval. They provide some concrete examples of Sam and Greg's alleged dishonesty and manipulation, including Sam's demand for researchers to delay reporting progress on specific secret research initiatives, Greg's use of discriminatory language, against a gender transitioning team member, Sam directing IT and operations staff to conduct investigations into employees. I'll place a link in this paper in the description so you can check it out if you want to. I personally don't think this is very strong evidence to support anything, especially since we now know about the new model that was coming out. Like everything that was kind of written here, it doesn't really add that much into that conversation. But yeah, just for completeness, I also included this. All of this that has happened, in the end, Sam Altman did agree to an internal investigation into the conduct that led to his dismissal. So maybe we will find out in the next days, weeks, months. But regardless, all this has happened in the end. I think we can all agree that it was a huge win for Microsoft, even though they didn't end up joining. But why didn't Sam join Microsoft in the end? This tweet from Satya Nadella says, and we're extremely excited to share the news that Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, together with colleagues, will be joining Microsoft to lead a new advanced AI research team. We look forward to moving quickly to provide them with the resources needed for their success. They allegedly already cleared out a space for the OpenAI team and GPUs so that they can get to work immediately. Well, the reason is this letter to the board of directors at OpenAI. This is from the employees of OpenAI. TLDR here is your actions have made it obvious that you're incapable of overseeing OpenAI. We are unable to work for or with people that lack competence, judgment, and care for our mission and employees. Ooh. We, the undersigned, may choose to resign from OpenAI and join a newly announced Microsoft subsidiary run by Sam Altman and Greg Brockman. Microsoft has assured us that there are positions for all OpenAI employees at this new subsidiary should we choose to join. We will take this step imminently unless all current board members resign and the board appoints 2 new lead independent directors, such as Brett Taylor and Will Hurd, and reinstates Sam Altman and Greg Brockman. And this was signed by a lot of people. Notice here the first name is Mir Marathi, the interim CEO who was the previous CTO, and a lot of other names, 600 plus, which represented over 95% of OpenAI employees. What is interesting to note is number 12 here, Ilya Sutskever, the person who played a major role in ousting Sam Altman. So he changed his mind, now realizing what a big mistake it was to oust Sam. Anyways, this mass protest by the OpenAI employees played a big role in pressuring the board, Satya, and Sam and Greg to returning to OpenAI. But in the end, Satya still won big. He's far more involved now in all of OpenAI, and he's even closer now to Sam. Bloomberg reports that Microsoft, whose AI strategy hinges on a startup's technology, will likely have representation on a new board, certainly as an observer and possibly with one or more seats, one of the people said. But that's not even all, because not only is Microsoft going to continue to provide compute power for OpenAI, it's also building alongside OpenAI. OpenAI is a really key strategic partner because Microsoft is trying to become an AI infrastructure company, starting from chips that are powering all the AI models. Microsoft aims to tailor everything from silicon to services to meet AI demand. At Microsoft Ignite a few months back, the company unveiled 2 custom-designed chips and integrated systems that resulted from the journey. The chips represent a last puzzle piece for Microsoft to deliver infrastructure systems, which I'm sure is powering OpenAI now. So Microsoft with their infrastructure and OpenAI with their models and commercial products. Together, they represent major players that are definitely going to be opening up the floodgates to AI development. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more products now that will be integrated with AI solutions. This really just increases and accelerates the progress of AI and the march towards AGI, artificial general intelligence. So all this does concern me greatly. This whole increased acceleration of AI and with the new model that's being released, how fast things are going. And from this whole ordeal that unfolded, it just shows me how much power there is in the hands of these industry leaders and the lack of safeguards against incompetence and misjudgments, because inevitably, as we can see, it did happen. But at the same time, I'm actually happy that this happened now. And I actually feel more optimistic than I did from a few weeks back. Before I explain why though, let's just finish off the story and see what's going to happen to OpenAI now. So returning back to this tweet, they said they reached an agreement in principle for Sam Altman to return as CEO and initial board of Brett Taylor, Larry Summers, and Adam D'Angelo. Bloomberg reports that the reworked OpenAI board will not be final yet. Its main priority now is to select up to 9 new directors. As part of the negotiations, Sam Altman is not on the board, but it's likely he'll join the board eventually, probably after this internal investigation into why he was dismissed in the first place is finished. And of course, there's that model called Q-Star, which was so powerful that it triggered so many alarms within OpenAI and contributed towards Sam Altman's ousting. There's currently not that much information about what's going to be happening from there, except that there's more safeguards that are being put in place. I'm sure there'll be more information that comes out as time goes on, and I can only hope that given everything that has happened, there's more eyes on this whole development to make sure that it is something that will be beneficial towards humanity. So I actually feel less concerned now than I did a few weeks before, because what this whole ordeal has shown is that even though it was handled very poorly by the board members and just like in general, it showed that there is a large amount of people who do care, especially within OpenAI. Ilya, Helen, a lot of the researchers at OpenAI, they panic because they understand how important their work is and the consequences that can come from it if not handled correctly. We don't know that much yet about Q-Star and how it relates to AGI, but I can say I'm very happy that it happened now and not after we reached AGI. Public eye is on this now. More people are interested in AI. More people are understanding the gravity of the situation. They're learning about it. They're speaking up about it. They're talking about AI safety, regulations, things that need to be in place. And as we saw from the OpenAI employees that decided to band together to bring Sam and Greg back, there is power in the masses to change the behavior of the people who are leading this revolution, to change the government and their policies. We can't just blindly trust the experts and the leaders in the AI space and the policy people to make sure that it's all safe. AI, and I'm sure AGI coming very soon, is way too powerful to be held in the hands of a few. Thank you for watching, and look out for that full video on OpenAI, AI, and the quest towards AGI.